Are you willing to support our veterans organizations that will help our veterans get every damn thing that they deserve because they signed on the dotted line to keep us safe, just like...
Gee, I wonder why men are fleeing the Democrat Party in droves. Well, as it turns out, there's a new poll out that shows they're not alone. Wait until you see the latest poll coming out of Quinnipiac. It's a left-leaning polling outlet. Even the liberal media was stunned by the results of just how unpopular the fledgling Democrat Party has become. Also, the entire federal workforce, all 2 million, have all been just offered a buyout by President Trump. And you won't believe the number that's about to take it. This is going to absolutely make your day. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to celebrate right along with you the rise of a new conservative golden age that you made happen back on November 5th. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Before we dive in here, of course, just a word, our hearts go out to all the victims of the plane crash at Reagan National Airport and their families. As we get more information, we'll of course be the first to report on it, but let's all offer up our prayers for everyone involved. It is such a tragedy. The Democrats were absolutely hammered the other day, and no, I'm not talking about, well, they were probably getting drunk as well after they saw this poll. It's a new poll out by Quinnipiac. Now, keep in mind, Quinnipiac consistently leans Democrat. All you got to do is look at the predictions for November, and you'll see that Quinnipiac consistently favors the Democrats always, which made the results of this poll all the more shocking. So first off, Trump is seeing his highest approval rating ever, according to Quinnipiac's, in my opinion, rather suspect methodology. But we'll take it. He's at his highest approval rating ever, including his first term, which Harry Enton of CNN has noted is unprecedented. We have not seen this before. You don't see a second-term president with a higher approval rating than his first term because in his second term, he's a lame duck. And so the country's getting ready to move on in a couple of years, and that inevitably affects his ratings. So Trump is crushing it in his approval ratings, and he's garnered near supermajority support for his policies, particularly sending troops to the southern border. Again, this coming from Quinnipiac. But then here's the real bad news, if you're a Democrat, that is. While Republicans are clocking in at 41% support, only 31%, let that hit you, barely 30% of voters, 3 in 10, have a favorable opinion of the Democrat Party. Nearly 60%, 57 to be exact, have an unfavorable opinion. Christian Hyens, who's a top-notch data and election analyst, noted that in a dozen years working in the political arena, he has never seen a poll like this. Now, for me, what's most telling is this stat. If you drill down in the crosstabs, you'll find that just, get this is amazing, just 22% of men have a favorable view of the Democratic Party. Just 2 in 10. And, you know, I wonder why.
You financially down the line.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You and I, you have said
you're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
That has turned out to be one of the more iconic moments from the RFK hearings yesterday, and it just overlapped with example after example of angry white liberal women screaming at men and woke-splaining to them, and men have had it, especially from the likes of such psychopathic liars like Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren, touted as the first woman of color at Harvard Law School. Woohoo! I mean, pathetic doesn't even begin to describe it. Well, you know, blatantly deceptive. But that stat alone, 8 in 10 despising the Democratic Party, that spells the writing on the wall for the Democrats. We've talked about this on a number of occasions, but all the while the legacy media was trying to push this fabricated narrative of the supposed Republican gender problem with women. The real gender problem, the fatal gender problem, was actually with the Democrats and men. Eric Lendrum of American Greatness published a great piece just a couple of weeks after the election. It was called The Coming Era of MAGA Dominance. And he argued there that the key political realignment that he saw coming out of that election involves a single demographic. In a word, men. Men overwhelmingly rejected the Democrat Party in November, and according to this poll of Quinnipiac, they continue to do so even more. Trump's dominance with men was one of the most consistent factors across all other demographic lines in the country. He won married men by 22 points. He won unmarried men by 2 points. He won white men by 23 points. He won suburban men by 27 points. He won non-college white men by 40 points. He won college-educated white men by 3 points. And he won the men of every single age demographic. He even won the youngest of men between the ages of 18 to 29 by a 2-point margin. And his lead only gets bigger as the ages get higher. Even across racial lines, the overwhelming support for President Trump among men simply could not and cannot be ignored. He outright won Hispanic men by 12 points, 55 to Kamala's 43. And in the single most loyally democratic demographic in the country, black voters, Trump managed to score a respectable 21% of black men to Kamala's 77%. So this mass defection of men is completely unraveling the left's hold on cultural institutions throughout the nation. And now that a realignment is coming to Washington, and Trump is ready like never before. Wait until you see this. But first, gang, we look out for each other here. Your health is our number one priority. So if you're one of the 100 million Americans struggling with all the weight gain and loss of energy that comes with a fatty liver, you have got to try Liver Health Formula. It's an all-natural supplement. It contains 12 clinically proven botanicals that help recharge and protect your liver. It's manufactured right here in the USA, approved by independent American doctors. And if you click on that link below right now, you could try Liver Health Formula and receive a free bottle of blood sugar formula when you order today. So don't let a fatty liver keep you sluggish and inactive. Click on that link below or go to getliverhelp.com/Turley and claim your free bonus gift. That's getliverhelp.com/Turley. So as we speak, Trump has almost completely cut off the Democrats from any and all federal funds, especially their NGOs, which are just money racketeering schemes at this point. And now we've gotten word that at least 10 to 15% of the federal workforce is about to quit en masse by November 6th. Now, you may have seen this from the other day, but Trump is offering a buyout to all 2 million federal workers to voluntarily resign. According to NBC, each worker would get a severance package, including 8 months of pay and benefits. And NBC estimates that 5 to 10% are expected to quit. Now, if you bring in the executive order revoking remote work and requiring all federal employees to show up on site, that number may hit upwards to 15%. If you haven't seen it, here's the email that all federal employees just received a couple of nights back. Quote, upon review of the below deferred resignation letter, if you wish to resign, first, select reply to this email from your .gov account. And second, type the word resign into the body of this reply email and hit send. I love that. I guess we're not dealing with the most competent folk in the world, is it? And make sure you hit send. They actually put that in the instructions. And that's it. And you have basically a week to decide if you want to walk away with a nice severance package or risk getting axed when the hammer comes down, to mix metaphors there. This is exactly what Elon did with Twitter when he cut their workforce by 80% after he originally acquired them. He sent out an email, offered them a very nice, generous benefits package of however months severance, so that they'll, in effect, self-deport. That's what this is. This is basically a carrot dangling before the federal workforce to get as many of them as possible to just go and self-deport. Or risk getting nothing when the pink slips start getting handed out. It's absolutely brilliant. And how about this? Over at the Justice Department, Trump has just fired everyone, every single lawyer associated with Jack Smith's prosecution of Trump and those federal cases. And everyone who worked on J6 cases has been put on notice that their jobs are being subject to review. You can't make this stuff up. They're calling it, according to Politico, okay, the Justice Department is calling it a demolition. The prosecutors are finally being prosecuted. The federal bureaucrats in D.C. are finally being held to account, really for the first time in decades, if not ever. And the beauty is, gang, the beauty of it all is we're literally just getting started.